Hello everybody, welcome back to Firefield Junction and welcome to another review for you. As we can see, today's loco, it's very, very special because finally, after all this time, it's finally here. The brand new Cavalex models Class 56. Oh my god, can't believe it. It's finally here, we finally got it, it's in our hands, it's at our layouts. We can finally enjoy this spectacular locomotive. It's been in development for so long now, I can't even remember when they announced it, but it's been a very long time now. Was it Worley in 2018 or something like that? I could be wrong, but I think it might have been, I think it was Worley, but I might have been wrong. But it's definitely been a very long time since this loco was announced. But obviously it suffered the usual delays that the virus, we won't go into too much detail about that, but it suffered the usual delays and everything from that. It's like a lot of models. And even down the line further from that, so there's been other delays, and obviously it's taken time to make sure that they get it right, because they have taken their time, which is good. So they wanted to make sure that we were going to get the best loco we could, and it's certainly been worth the wait, it seems. Certainly from the various photos and videos I've already seen, that wait has definitely been worth it, and I'm sure it was. I'm sure that when I get this out, when I get this out the box, it will definitely have been worth that very long wait. Now the 56 in real life, for those of you that don't know, started running, it was around sort of the late 1970s, mid to late 1970s that they started running. They built quite a lot of them. I can't remember exactly where all of them were built. Well, say that. I know some of them were built in Romania, some of them were built in the UK. So there was sort of various batches, if you like, here and there of them, which also meant they had, some of them had different cabs, different lighting arrangements, different horn grills. There are a few differences here and there which made you basically able to tell whether it was built in the UK or built in Romania. But still, built quite a lot of them, and quite a few still running today. Colas have a few, DC Rail Freight have a few, GBRF did have a couple, but I think they might have retired them now, I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure they are still around. I know that for a fact, they are still around at least. And I think one of them is actually on hire to DC Rail Freight. I think it's 56098. The large logo one is currently on hire to DC Rail, which is quite cool. Haven't seen it yet, but you never know, might get lucky in the future. But at the moment, I'm pretty sure the future for those two at least is probably not looking at the moment. It's looking okay, but long term, whether they're still going to be running or whether they're going to get converted into Class 69s, we're not too sure. But at least at the moment, we can still enjoy them. There's still plenty of them going, so we can still enjoy these locos. Certainly for, in the near future. For the moment, they're not going to go anywhere. Now, this particular loco is in the DC Rail Freight livery. If we look at the end of the box, we can see, so this particular one is 56091 in the DC Rail livery, and the model code is CM-56091-DCR. SF is sound fitted. Well, that makes sense, I suppose. It's sound fitted, so it's got the SF there. We've got the Lock Sound logo there as well. I don't know why it's upside down, but I guess that's just the way they applied it. We've got the very nice line drawing on the front there of the real thing, which has got a nice gloss finish to it, actually. It's quite cool. And so far, first impressions are pretty good. The box feels very, very sturdy. It's absolutely massive, and it weighs a lot as well. So fingers crossed, we're going to have a nice big heavy loco inside there, which is good. Don't think there's much else in the box, really, if we look on the back. Not really much else there, just another photo of the real thing. Well, I'll say real thing, of the model. So apart from that, yeah, at the moment it's not really much else we can say. So I think we need to open her up and have a look. So we'll get the lid off. It's a bit of a tight fit, so I think I'm going to have to do it this way, so I'm just letting it drop off. So just take it off. Oh, there we go. There we go. Get it off without losing all the paperwork. So there we are. So we've got the paperwork first. So I'll have a quick look through this. So first thing, we've got the booklet here. So Cavalex models, Class 56, general information and driving instructions. So there's quite a lot in here, I believe. So first thing we've got introduction there, the contents. So let's have a quick look through. So general information. So we've got information there on the real thing. General information about the real thing there as well. So we can see the engine, I suppose maximum speed, all the other things. A bit more about the loco there. So a bit more there as well. So line drawing. So we've got something about the Cavalex models. We've got a photo there of a few of the different liveries. That's quite nice. A bit more. So model features. So 21 pin DCC ready. So that's good. The range. I don't think that displays the entire range because there is a Colas one that they've done, but it's not actually on there for some reason. But they have done it. More about the model. So the motor type. So it's 5-pole twin flywheel motor. So that's good. Wheel arrangement A1A. So centre axle on both bogies is not driven, which is fair enough. Cavalex, I think, did talk about this a bit. because I think it's mentioned about, I suppose, having all wheels driven might affect inclines and unlevel track, so they do that just to give the, I suppose, the model a bit more leeway when running on uneven track, which is fair enough. The weight of the loco, so apparently these weigh 625 grams, that's good. So plenty of weight there to haul the nice long freight trains that you're going to be using this for, I'm sure. Again, DCC socket, 21 pin. Recommended decoder. So there is a thing, I think, with these where you do have to use a certain decoder for these locos. So if you bought a DCC ready one and you want to chip it, then you have to use a certain decoder with these, which is, I know it is annoying, but again, also understandable in a way because of how complex the locos are becoming these days. You'd have to develop certain decoders and, well, specific decoders for them. But it is a bit of a shame, I suppose, that chipping these, it's not quite as easy maybe as other locos. You have to go by certain decoders. You haven't got a lot of variation, a lot of choice really, but, well, I suppose that's just that. I suppose we have to live with it. A bit more there about the model, so I think that's just about the contents of the box. So we can see everything we've got inside. That's good. Carry on. So a bit more about the vest. They've got the details again, where to fit them, so that's good. So loads of detail there, various hoses and couplings and all sorts. That's good. I'm sure I'll fit those later on at some point. Removing the body, so this is important. So removing the body, so it's just clipped on. So 4 clips, so it should come off nice and easily. And a bit more there about body removal. We can see what she's like inside. So we've got the speaker in the centre, sockets at one end, and then we've got obviously the fans at the other end, which are driven. I believe the fans are driven as well, which is quite cool, so hopefully we'll get to see that later as well. Then a bit more there about the loco. So remove the panel, so that's good. So if you want to chip it, I believe it is just taking the panel off, which it is by the looks of it, yeah. So see there a bit more about that. So remove the panel and then we can get to the DCC socket nice and easily. So that's good, a bit like a Cura scale I've done. So chipping is not a faff, you don't have to worry about faffing around with screws or clips or anything to get the body off. Just easily take the panel off, and that's what we need to do. So that's good. And then carrying on, so a bit more, so fitting a driver, so if you want to do that, so that's quite good. And then a bit about the switches inside, so to give you control of the lighting. So you can see a bit more there, so on digital with a certain decoder, analog. So that's good. So I'm guessing these should hopefully already be preset to what they need to be. A bit about the lighting and all of the different lighting that you can have. I believe that's it. So that's good. And then a bit more. So we've got the function list there for all of the sounds and the lighting. So we get to see and try those later. Driver experience, Cavalex model again, and then a bit about the P4 and EM wheel sets, which is good. So that you can change if you model those 2 gauges, then you can easily change these over, which is quite nice. Well thought out. And then I think the rest is just more about the model, warranty. Yeah, that's that. Future releases, the Class 60. We'll get to see one of those in the future. I've got one on pre-order, so I'll get to look at that in the future when they come out as well. Then a bit more about acknowledgements, and that's basically it. So very, very detailed, a lot in there, but definitely worth it, I think. You don't really see that from many manufacturers, so I certainly haven't seen anything like that before. So at the moment, very, very good, Cavalex, well done. So definitely covers everything you need to know. So that's that. And then next thing, this is the bit about the nameplates, I believe. Yes, it is. So it shows you basically where to fit the nameplates. So you get a little tool that you line up with the doors, and then that allows you to put the nameplates in the right place. Because you do have to fit the nameplates yourself, and then there aren't even any tamper printed ones, which is a bit of a shame. I don't know why they haven't tamper printed any nameplates to these, because at least then it would have made fitting these metal ones a lot easier. So I don't know why they haven't done that. Everyone else does it, so why they haven't, I'm not too sure. But I'll just have to deal with it, I suppose. But yeah, a bit annoying, I think. And then another thing here, and this is just more about say more, it is just another thing of the function list. So that's good. So all the paperwork out of the way. A lot of time wasted. We can finally open the box properly and have a look at the loco. So foam up, out the way, and there she is. So there's the loco. At the moment, you're probably thinking she's not very well packaged, but yes, she is. I can assure you. It's quite good, I think, the way Cavalex have done this, because the loco itself is actually screwed on to this large sort of plastic mount, which, whilst it holds the loco very nicely in the packaging, it also means that a lot of this delicate detail, so on the bogies and the sides and everything, is not actually in contact for the most part, apart from this bit of the roof. It's not in contact with any of this foam. So whilst the loco is very securely packaged, you shouldn't see any loose detail or any damage to these, from the packaging at least, because is definitely held nice and securely. That's not going to go anywhere. But none of the detail is actually up against anything where it's going to get damaged, it's going to get squished. So I think this is a very good solution, to be honest. I think very, very well thought out there by Cavalex. But before we get the loco out, we'll have a quick look at the details. So first thing first, as you can see, we've got the nameplates. Can't really see them very well at the moment, but they are there. I'm guessing, have they covered them over? Looks like they covered them over. So that's a bit interesting. Or is that just me? I'm not too sure. Or is that the nameplates there? Ah, there we go, that's the nameplates. There we go, just there's hiding. So we can see the nameplates there. There we go, that's a bit better. So that's quite good. They look very good. Nice finish to them. Obviously, nice solid edge metal. So that's good. I'll fit those at a later date. Obviously not at the moment, but that's good. At least we got them. The next thing, I believe, is going to be the detail bag for the buffer beam. Yes, it is. So we can see there all the details there. So we've got all of the hoses, all of the couplings. Obviously, you've got the name couplings there for the name pockets, and all the various other details there as well. So that's good. Definitely fit some of that at a later date as well. And now we can finally look at the locomotive. So I think we just get this plastic mount out of the thing first. So just lift it out. Gosh, she is heavy. Very, very heavy. So there we are. So we'll put the box to one side. And obviously at the moment we can't look at her very well because we've got the plastic mount in the way. But yeah, certainly at the moment, she's looking very, very good. I can see lots of detail there, especially on the underframe. The finish of the livery is good as well. Nice finish there, nice and satin, slash gloss, I suppose. It's got a nice shine to the roof. The body side's got a nice gleam to it as well. So yeah, at the moment, first impressions, very, very good. So I'll quickly go away and I'll get rid of this plastic mount. I'll take the screws out and get it out of the way, and then we can have a look at the loco properly. So I'll quickly get this out of the way, get her unsecured, and then we'll carry on and look at the loco in detail. Okay, so here we are, less than a minute later, and the loco is now free. The screws come out nice and easily, and they are pretty long as well, so they're definitely not going to come out by themselves. Definitely going to hold the loco in place very, very securely, I can assure you. But there we are. Finally, we can see her properly, and I'm sure you can agree, just wow. This loco is absolutely incredible. The detail, wherever you look, it's just fantastic. Everything's beautifully applied. It's all beautifully moulded. The livery is second to none. It's just beautiful. Even the grills are at the top. Just look at that. You can even see through them. That is just spectacular. I can't believe this loco. I've only been looking at it for less than a minute, just a few seconds, and already I'm just absolutely blown away. You've even got the beautifully separately fitted etched grills there on the side. It's just a chassis block behind there, that's all you can really see, but they're metal, you can see through them. That's beautiful. The bogies look really, really good. They've got a nice motion to them. The sandpipes there are catching the wheels, which is a bit annoying. Hopefully when the loco's running that won't cause any issues. It shouldn't do, but well, you never know. We'll have to see. If we hear clicking when she's running, going around corners, then we'll know it's going to be those. But still, she's beautiful. The ends of the loco look really, really good. We'll get to see all those lights working later on. The buffers are sprung and they feel very good as well. They've got a nice motion to them. They've got a bit of stiffness as well, which is quite nice. Some sprung buffers the springing can be like really easy. Like the springs don't take much to compress, but these have a really nice motion to them, which is quite nice. Got the cable there on the front, which is separately fitted. The cab detail is really, really nice. Let's try and get a good shot inside there if we can. It's not incredibly easy, but hopefully we can. There we go. Yeah, just look at that. You can see inside there, all of the controls have been picked out. It looks beautiful. Definitely a very nice cab there. Whether anything's gonna light up in there, I'm not too sure. Obviously, Acura scale, as we've seen in the past, do that. They add some very nice light up instruments to the cabs of their locos. But whether this one will, I'm not too sure. But again, we'll have to see later. Got the seats there as well, which look very, very nice, nicely painted and nicely moulded. The handrails by the doors are very, very nice. I think they are just made of plastic, but at least they're separately fitted, which is quite nice. One's bigger than the other, which is interesting. Whether that's I don't know if it's like that's the real loco or not. I might have to check through some old videos and old footage that I've got of them. But they look very, very nice, which is quite cool. The camera stripe has been very nicely applied as well, and can't see any blemishes of it. The roof of the loco is also really, really nice. You can see the fans there. which I believe are motorized. I think you can even control each one separately as well on DCC. So we'll have to see that later, but they look very good as well. And hopefully they spin very nicely when we see later. The rest of the roof detail is very, very nice, all nicely moulded and then all nicely fitted as well. You've got the panel there at the back of the loco. Well, I say the back, obviously there's not really a back on these technically, but at this end of the loco we've got the panel which comes off. I won't try taking it off now, but it looks like it should come off quite easily, but it's very nicely fitted, which is good. Obviously, despite it being a separate piece, the fitting of it is perfect. Can't see any issues with that. The reds down the bottom, the red stripe at the bottom of the loco is very, very nicely done. And the DC rail freight lettering as well has been beautifully applied. Just look at that. I have to ignore my grubby fingerprints. But yeah, looking at that, that is brilliant. No issues with it whatsoever. Definitely looks like the real thing, which is good. And the underframe detail there on the fuel tank, just look at that. All beautifully moulded, beautifully applied, beautifully painted as well. Not that there is much paint, but still. Yeah, that is beautiful. Really, really nice. So if you look underneath, obviously you've got those two great big screw holes there, which the screws that hold the loco to that plastic plate to go into. But obviously you're not going to see those, that doesn't really matter, does it? But I can assure you, as I've said, definitely the loco definitely ain't going to go anywhere in that box. It's definitely going to stay in place. The axle boxes look very, very good. They've been nicely painted. And these steps there as well, look at that. They look very, really nice, very nicely moulded. I think they might be metal as well, but I can't remember if Cavalex said these were metal or not. I think they might have said something on them in an update previously when they were doing the model. I'm not too sure, but they look very, very nice. Very, very nice texture to those. If we have a look at the bogies, we can see how she picks up her power as well. And it's done through the axles, well I say the axles, the axle boxes, if you like, as you can see there. So a bit like how Hornby have done it on their old Class 50s and Class 31s. We've got a very nice secure connection there. I do like these sorts of pickups because they're reliable. Obviously, they don't add much friction either. So we shouldn't see any issues with running with these. They should be flawless. Although cleaning these sorts of pickups can be a bit irritating, but they still do work nicely. So I'm sure when we get it running, we should see some nice smooth performance. Shouldn't see a cutout at all. Got the coupling pocket there. So a nice kinematic coupling, and it's got a nice motion to it as well. So hopefully you shouldn't see any issues with that. And you've got some more detail there with these sandpipes, and on the other end of the loco, just as good as the other one. Again, more sprung buffers. Got the lights which we get to see, and the cab as well. Yeah, just as good as the other end. All beautifully picked out, all nicely painted. Yeah, overall, she's beautiful. Beautiful model. She weighs a lot as well, so that's 625 grams that they said it weighs. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. I'm not going to disagree with them there. But I think one thing we should do quickly is, before we take her up to the layout, is what is she like compared to the Hornby one? Well, let's grab a Hornby one and let's see what the differences are, if we can notice any. So there we go. So we've got Cavalex on the top, Hornby on the bottom. And looking at the two, there isn't massive difference really. I think one thing that is different is those grills on the top there on the roof. The Hornby one, I believe they are all just moulded. You can't see through them, unlike on the Cavalex one, so that's definitely one upgrade. Obviously, those big grills on the side, both models are separately fitted, I believe, and you can see through both of them, which is good. I'd say the detailing there, where the fans are inside, I think the Hornby one is better. But then again, the fans in this Hornby one aren't driven, although it does still technically have the, I suppose, the fan mounting tooling inside that does allow them to be driven. So I suppose maybe in terms of looks, Hornby's is better, but I can almost guarantee in functionality with working fans, the Cavalex one is going to be 10 times better than what Hornby's was when they did do the working fans. The underframe, what's that like in difference? Yeah, I'd definitely say the Cavalex one, looking at it, is a bit more complex. But I wouldn't say, again, the difference is, well, massive. But the bogie detail, definitely, I think there's definitely a bit more of it on the Cavalex one. It's interesting trying to get these in shot without these shadows getting in the way. But yeah, overall, differences, yeah, I wouldn't say loads, but there is definitely a noticeable upgrade on the Cavalex one compared to the Hornby one. The Cavalex one is definitely heavier as well. The Hornby one, whilst it still does weigh quite a bit, it's definitely not as heavy as this Cavalex one. I can definitely tell that. Holding the two, this one is definitely heavier. So weight's definitely taken by the Cavalex one. But yeah, overall, there's still nothing wrong with the Hornby one. Personally, I still think the Hornby one is very, very nice. But the Cavalex one, it's definitely better. I wouldn't say by an awful lot, but it is definitely better. The cab detail, I think, probably is better on the Cavalex one as well. If you can see the Hornby one there, there is some painted detail in there, but I would say the Cavalex one probably does have a bit more. The Hornby one also has its opening doors, which the Cavalex one doesn't. So I suppose that's one feature that this has, that this doesn't. But yeah, overall, it's still both a very nice pair of locomotives, I think. The Hornby one still definitely can have its place, but I would say the Cavalex one is still the better one out of the two at the moment. But anyway, let's head up to the layout, get the Cavalex one on the track, and see how it runs. Okay, so here we are, back up on the layout once again. So let's just grab the loco and get her on. Should hopefully be fairly easy, he says. But there we go, that's one bogie on, and that's the other bogie on. So let's just double check, make sure all the wheels are on, which I believe they are. Yeah, there we go, it's all ready to go. So I'll just move it back a little bit. So we won't play any of the sounds yet. I think before we start giving her some proper testing and seeing what she sounds like and all that, I think first things first is we'll just get her running first. Just, I suppose, double check to make sure that she's all okay, make sure that all the mechanisms are baked in and everything, and then we'll see what she's like properly. So we'll start with the lights to start with. Might as well just quickly see what her lights are like. So let's press function 0 and see if we get any. Oh, yes we have. So we've got some tail lights there. I don't know if you can see them very well though. I'll just move it back a bit. Hopefully you can see them. They are on. I can see them perfectly fine, but I don't know how well the camera's picking them up. But let's change direction and see if we get some headlights. Oh yeah, we've got some headlights. And we haven't got the high intensity headlights, but we have got the lights at the bottom though. So I hope you can see them. I'm not too sure how well you can see them, but they are on, so that's good. So let's give her a quick wiggle and see what happens. Oh yes, that's beautiful. Well, that was fantastic. Really smooth and absolutely silent as well. I couldn't really hear any noise from her at all. Ever so slight, I think, motor noise, but that's just because of the decoder. But yeah, that's beautiful. Try the other direction. Yeah, wow, that's brilliant. So first performance at the moment, first performance test. Well, she's passed with flying colours, I think. That's beautiful. Just look at that. She's not even run in yet, and she's already running this well. That's fantastic. So I think before we do any more, let's get her run in, make sure she's all bed in and all lubricated and all warmed up. Then we'll come back, try the sounds, and get her running properly. So I'll get her running in, and I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so she's just coming around the corner now. There we go. So we'll bring her to a stop. Hopefully stop her in shot as well. There we go. Nice smooth deceleration. And there we go. Absolutely brilliant. So she's all nicely running now. She's had plenty of time in both directions. No issues whatsoever. It's still very smooth, very, very quiet. Absolutely cannot fault her performance. Beautiful, beautiful runner. So very well done there, Cavalex. So next thing, I suppose, is to go through all of the functions and see basically what we can do with her. So function 0 does the regular, I suppose, running lights in each direction, which we've already got on. Function 9, we'll skip to next quickly, because that is the high intensity headlights on both ends. If I just move it back a bit, and we'll get that on, and hopefully you can see it. It is on. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see it. The hammer might be in the way. Move it back a bit more and just try and get a bit of darkness. Hopefully you can see there the headlights now on. Although technically being the high intensity headlight, it is actually a lot dimmer compared to the other lights, but that's that, I suppose. So function 1 is the regular startup sound, as with most locos. So we'll skip over that for now. We'll come back to that at the end. So function 2 is the well, it's actually two functions actually, because it can do one of the horns, so two-tone horn. Then it can also be the independent brake function. But basically, to activate the brake function, you have to have function 25 on, and that will then basically switch function 2 from being a horn function to that brake function. So that's quite cool, I suppose. Obviously, it's not going to be much use at the moment with her standing still. But obviously, if you wanted to have that braking function on function 2, like some decoders have, then you activate function 25, and then then you basically lose a horn function, and you then get that braking function. But obviously, for this video, we'll just leave it as the horn function. So let's see what that horn is like. Very, very good. Really like that. Function 3 is the warning horn high. So basically the high tone horn. So let's see what that's like. Yeah, very good. And then function 4 is the low tone horn. Yeah, very, very good. So very nice horns there. Very, very good. Function 5 is drive lock. Now, obviously that won't do anything at the moment. But for those of you that aren't familiar with drive lock, all that does is it locks the loco speed, whatever it's doing. And then just by turning the dial on your controller, you can then basically choose how high you want the engine to rev, or if you want to notch it down if it's going really fast. It basically gives you a bit of functionality there, I suppose, with not worrying about how fast the loco is going, and it just gives you a bit more control, I suppose, over the engine sounds without worrying basically without worrying of her suddenly going really fast or really slow, depending on what you want to do. But that's that, which is good. Function 6 is manual notching down. Obviously, that won't do anything at the moment. Function 7 is manual flange squill. Obviously, again, won't be able to do anything like that. I believe these locos do have the automatic flange squill, a bit like the Akira scale models do. So when she goes around corners or goes over points, then you basically get that flange squill automatically, which is nice. But it's also good that you can do it automatically. I say automatically, you can do it at your discretion with that function. Function 8 is red tail lights off. So I suppose that's if you've got it hauling a train and you want to turn those lights off, then you can do that. So let's change direction quickly. So we've got tail lights on there. Again, I don't know if you can see them very well. Activate function 8. And there we go, they've gone off, so that's good. And I'm guessing if you change direction again, yeah, we've still got the headlights. So very good there. Function 9, obviously that's the high intensity headlights, which we've already done. Function 10 is defo / stabling lights. So essentially parking mode. So that'll be red tail lights at both ends. So put that on. There we go. So we've got the tail lights there, and then they'll still be on the other end. Let's check. Yeah, they are. So that's good. So turn that off. Function 11 is the compressor. Now I'm not sure if we have to have the engine running for lots of these, but let's try it anyway. No, nothing. So we'll have to have the engine running for that. It's fair enough. Function 12 is the Spirex valve. I think we might have to have the engine running for this as well. Yeah, we do. Okay, fair enough. Function 13 is sanding valve. Let's try that. Yeah, fair enough. Function 14 is shunting mode. Again, that obviously won't do anything at the moment, but shunting mode, it just makes the loco run slower. Basically, that's basically what it does. But it gives you a bit more, I suppose, for control when you're shunting. Function 15 is the coupling clank. Yeah, not too bad. Function 16 is your cab lights. Let's see what those are like. Yeah, not too bad. Hopefully you can see them there. They've come on, and they're quite a decent colour, I think, as well. Not too bright either. So that's pretty good. So turn those off. Function 17 is the automatic flange squill isolator. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I believe these do have the automatic flange squill, well, yeah, basically that. And if you want to turn it off, then you can do on function 17. So that's good. Function 18 is bogey rattle isolator. So I'm guessing you automatically get sounds of the bogies, I suppose, like rattling and squeaking as she's running. So that's good. Function 19 is sound fader. So I'm guessing that will just turn down the volume or just silence the sound if you want to. Function 20 is the brake auto release isolator. So I'm not too sure what that does actually, but I'm guessing if we activate it, it won't do anything at the moment. No, it doesn't do anything at the moment, so I'm not too sure what that does. But it's there nonetheless if you need it. Function 21 is the emergency brake. We'll give this a go actually. So I believe if we just get it running, we'll just move her back a bit, and then we'll get it coming towards the camera. I believe all this will do, it will just stop the loco almost instantly if she's running. So if you want to stop the loco suddenly, I suppose it's just another emergency stop button if you think. Well, yeah, I suppose it is. So get it going, activate function 21. Yeah, there you go, and it stops her instantly, and I'm guessing if we release it, she'll get going again. Yeah, there we go. So let's just bring her to a stop again. There we go, so that's pretty good. Function 22 is radiator fan number 1 off, and then 23 is radiator fan number 2 off. So the fans, I do believe, just come on automatically as and when they need to. But if you want to turn them off yourself, then you can do that, and you can turn each fan off independently as well. So that's good. Function 24, compressed air let off. So I'm guessing that this, again, is not going to do anything at the moment, but let's try. Oh, yes, it does. Okay, that's good. Function 25, manual notching on. So I'm not too sure what that is actually. Function 26 is handbrake toggle. Let's see if that does anything. Quite a long function. Is it going to stop? Yeah, there we go. So very long function there, but I'm guessing that's just the handbrake being applied. Not too bad. Function 27, it says multiple working, so I have a feeling that if we activate that, that will probably turn off all of the lighting completely. Let's see if it does. Yeah, it does. So there we go. So that turns off all of the does it turn off all of the lighting? Oh no, I see. Okay, so what it does is it turns off the headlights, then leaves the tail lights on. So that's pretty good. So I'm guessing if you're maybe running a couple of these together, you can I suppose you can have one with just the tail lights on, and then one with just the headlights on. Maybe it might take a bit of programming, I think, but I'm guessing that's what it is. But yeah, all it does is just turn the headlights off, but we've still got the tail lights on at the other end. So that's fair enough. Then function 28 is the cab door. Yeah, short and sweet, but does the job. Yeah, and that's as far as I go. So but then function 29 and function 30 are just station announcements. So, and it's I suppose it's quite unlikely you'll use them with one of these locos, but we've still got them on there. It's just unfortunate that we can't actually use them on this, especially at least on this controller. Anyway, I don't know how many controllers can actually do above 28 functions, but that's it, I suppose. So next thing we'll do, I might as well get the engine started up. So let's do that. There we are. And before we get it going, let's just try some of those other functions that we couldn't try earlier. So let's try the compressor again on function 11. Yeah, not too bad. And then the the Cavalex valve on function 12. Yeah, pretty good. And then the standing valve, I believe we were able to do on function 13, but we'll do it again anyway. Yeah, I can't really hear it very well, but it is playing. So yeah, overall, not too bad. A very nice selection of sounds. They sound very good as well. So all it's left to do is let's get her running and see what she's like. Speed her up even more. Well, I don't think I need to say anything really. This is one absolutely fantastic locomotive. Well done, Cavalex. You have done an absolutely amazing job on these. Amazing detail, amazing sound, beautiful quality, beautiful livery. You really cannot ask for much better. This is, without a doubt, one of the best, if not the best model I have in the collection. Absolutely fantastic. Definitely recommend you get one of these if you can. Definitely worth the investment. Really cannot fault it. And now let's have some ratings for the brand new Cavalex models Class 56 in DC rail freight for DCC sound. The detail on the locomotive, I'm sure you can agree, it's got to be 10 out of 10. The detail on this locomotive is absolutely phenomenal. Loads of detail all over the place. You've got all of those grills on the top which you can see through, absolutely outstanding. A beautiful livery application, no blemishes anywhere, it looks fantastic. Lots of lighting features, lots of detail on the underframe, on the body, on the roof. Just cannot fault it. Beautiful detail, definitely a 10 out of 10 model. The performance on the locomotive as well, I'm sure you can agree. The performance is just second to none. Beautifully smooth, nice and consistent, nice and quiet. You've got amazing sound as well from those speakers and the sound decoder. Just cannot fault the performance. Absolutely phenomenal. A beautiful loco in performance terms. Just cannot fault it at all. The quality of the loco as well, I cannot fault it. Everything's been very well put together. Everything's been very well decorated. I just can't find any issues with the quality anywhere. It's a beautiful loco. Definitely feels nice and sturdy in the hands. And the packaging as well, I think, considering how well this loco is detailed, even though it looks like it's not incredibly well secured in the box, I think it definitely is. I'm sure you can agree. Those screws are definitely going to hold it very securely in place. Definitely quite unusual style of packaging in a way compared to what we're used to. But I do think it's been very well done. It definitely packages the loco well, without, I suppose, without the risk of anything being damaged as well. Very good quality overall from Cavalex. Cannot fault it at all in my opinion. The value for money was a bit of a tricky one for me though. Whilst it still definitely is a very good value loco for what you get, I do still think that maybe the price is ever so slightly too high. It's close to £300. I believe it's around £290 almost exactly for a sound fitted version. And whilst that's certainly not too bad, I think, for what you get, I do still think that you do get better value from a Curoscale. Whilst I do think this does have, I suppose, a little bit extra in terms of features, certainly with those working fans, which obviously a Curoscale don't have at the moment, although we do have it coming on some of their newer locomotives like the 31 and the 50. I do still think that Curoscale are still slightly better value here compared to what you get with Cavalex, but still very good value for money. Still can't really fault it at all. I've just knocked it down ever so slightly because I do feel like maybe this could have been ever so slightly cheaper, but it's definitely not a major concern. Still very good value. Overall, a very well deserved score. So that's an overall score of 9.75 out of 10. Very well deserved. A beautiful loco, absolutely outstanding. Definitely recommend you get one of these if you can.